Welcome to the Gilbert Public Schools BeWell podcast. Here are your hosts and BeWell coaches, Morgan Party and Nick Cornell.
Welcome back, BeWellers. We are so excited to have you back in person fully at school. And for Global Academy, we have a special guest for you, and Nick is going to introduce him.
Oh, it's good to be back in another BeWell podcast. I'd like to introduce a very special guest today. We have a very good friend of mine, Coach Tyler Merritt. He's been an outstanding educator in Gilbert Public Schools for 15 years. He's taught special education. He's currently an English teacher. He's both a youth and a high school wrestling coach. He also coaches football. He's also a part-time professional comedian and just one of the most enjoyable people to be around that I've met in my life. So I'd like to introduce Tyler Merritt, and it's so great to have you here, Tyler.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Awesome. And I'll start. Tyler, in all the years I've known and worked with you, you've always set exercise goals that you've worked toward accomplishing. How does having, whether it's a triathlon or whether it's a race, how does having a goal or an objective to train for help you with achieving your fitness goals?
For me personally, competition is huge. So not necessarily with anybody in general, but like knowing that there's certain times out there and I can kind of look up age group times or something like that. That motivates me to at least get out there and have a goal of a purpose for my workouts. And I've noticed that having a purpose for workouts is huge. We always athletes work out through high school and possibly through college, and they have a goal. And then once you get out of that, it's kind of, you kind of get stagnant. And I found myself not having a purpose for my workouts, so they weren't fun. So having some sort of a goal or an idea lets me make a plan and kind of stick to it usually. So
Absolutely. Thanks, Coach. I appreciate that.
I find myself doing the same thing. If I don't have a goal, I become a slacker. So I'm with you on that one. So you are a full-time teacher, a year-round coach, and a husband and a father of two outstanding kids. How do you even find the time to exercise?
That's definitely the toughest part. I fortunately or unfortunately, I'm a big night person. So I really enjoy working out at night, and that is really helpful in Arizona when it's 100 degrees at 10 o'clock at night. So I can go out at 11, 12 o'clock at night and get a run in or a walk with my dog. So I don't have to worry about missing a lot of family time. The first time I did an Ironman, or the only time technically that I did an Ironman, was when my kids were actually really little. And I really didn't miss any time with them except for maybe early mornings if I had to change my workout, like when I had to go swimming. So my plan is just once my wife goes to bed, that's kind of my time to do what I need to do. And that's when I can get outside and do things like that.
Tyler, over the years, all the years I've worked with you, this is going on number 12, you've always been exercising. You've always been training for something. Over the years, how has exercise affected just your mental health, your well-being, your wellness, just in general? How's it affected the mental part of wellness?
Well, first thing is when I work out, I feel like I've accomplished something. So I know it's like the end of the day for me because I do it mostly at night. But sometimes in the summer or when I have time, I drive both my kids to school, so I can't do it in the morning as often. But just a feeling of accomplishment is like, at least I've done something today that I noticed that, okay, I can check that off my list. The other thing that helps a lot is I have a better body image of myself when I work out. So even if the scale's not moving, I still can, I just look in the mirror and go, okay, at least something is different, hopefully today, or if it's going to be. So that really helps me mentally. And at least I feel like I'm moving towards something, and I can say that I've accomplished something. I feel better about me as a person. And health-wise, I just go, okay, at least I'm going in the right direction today because I got my workout in. So I think that's a big thing. And the endorphins and stuff after a workout, I just feel great. Like I said, I don't sleep very much, which I know is not great. But at least I can turn that into something productive to where I come home, I have some endorphins, I grade papers, I create good lessons, think of things while I'm kind of relaxing to be able to go to sleep.
Awesome.
Those endorphins are something special. I tell you, every time I work out, you feel like $1,000,000 after.
Yes, absolutely. I just wish it was like a lot quicker. Like I went for a 5-mile run. I don't know why I'm not skinny. Like, I wish everything else worked as quickly as the endorphins.
So, as Nick mentioned, you've actually dabbled in professional comedy. I can't even speak.
Commodities.
Commodities.
whole different business.
And you've actually had gigs at the Improv. How has comedy helped you with your mental and physical wellness journey?
Well, I created a phrase, and I don't know if anybody else has ever heard it. I just usually say it to myself, but laughter is the best medicine. So, yeah, I think the more you laugh, just like we talked about endorphins, is great. So being around a bunch of other comedians is awesome. But I think the biggest thing that I've gotten out of improv, I don't do stand-up, I do improv. So there's a little bit of difference, but is the idea that we can be wrong and it's okay. And I try to impress that upon my students and my football players and just anybody really, because especially nowadays we get so tied up on being right all the time that improv teaches you that there's a lot of times there's way more ways to be right than you think, and even when you're wrong, it turns out okay and you can fix it. Or in improv comedy, being wrong is a lot more funny sometimes. So letting myself be wrong has really helped me, especially on the mental aspect of things. The classroom, especially that sort of thing, where I can do a lesson and at the end of the day, I can go, wow, that didn't go great. But instead of beating myself up like a lot of people do, and I still do at times, but being able to go, okay, so what went right, what went wrong? And after every comedy show, we do notes. So we go, okay, what was great? What do we need to fix? And then focus on those two things of this was awesome, this wasn't. And that's been the biggest change, I think, with me. I'm really hard on myself with a lot of things. And doing something in my spare time that celebrates being wrong has really, really helped me.
That's awesome. You have to let people know so we can, I don't know if improv's happening right now, but when it is, we would all love to see you.
There are online shows. I go
Oh.
through, and if I can plug them, I don't know, but National Comedy Theater Phoenix. And they do online shows. I'm not very involved with the online shows, mostly because when we started them, I was on with kids all day doing this. And the last thing I wanted to do was do that more. So now that that's stopped, I think I'm going to get more into it, and hopefully we'll open up soon.
Awesome. Thank you.
Awesome, Coach. Love listening to you. What are some of your future fitness and exercise goals? What's next on the Tyler to-do list of accomplishments?
The two big ones when it comes to competitions, I want to do another Ironman. My goal was to do it this year because I did it the last time I did an Ironman and didn't get hurt during the training, which is a whole different story, but is in 2010. So I really wanted to do another one in 2020. I've done other races between then, but Ironman is a huge time commitment. So that's not going to happen, but I'm hoping for next year I can get an Ironman in. So we'll see. That's number one. Number two is I've done almost every running race you can think of, marathon and below. I really want to do an ultra marathon. I would love to do a 50 miler. I love running. I love zoning out when I run. It's my favorite activity. So if I could do a 50 miler or plus in the next 4 to 5 years, hopefully before I'm 45, that's what I want to do. Those are my two big goals. For right now, my fitness goal is to just be consistent. I'll go a week really hard, and then like something will happen on a Monday or a Tuesday, and I'll just be like, and I'll get out of that mood. I ride my emotions pretty hard to where when I'm feeling really good, I tend to do a lot of good stuff and work out. And then when things, like craziness that's been happening all of this year gets in the way, I tend to, that tends to be the first thing that kind of goes because I'm trying to make sure everybody else is okay. And I need to learn to sometimes to put on my own mask. before helping others. And I think that's one of my most consistent things that I want to do is actually get back into working out. So I've put on a good pandemic. I've put on the what is that, the pandemic 15, the COVID 15.
Yes.
Yeah, I've put that on a couple times now. So I have to. That's my short-term goal, is to get that off and then focus on these races.
Thank you, Coach.
That's awesome. Yeah, consistency is definitely key, because I'm with you too in that aspect. I've been starting going back to work out, and sometimes it's hard, but if you're consistent, then it really helps.
Yeah.
So we want to thank you for all that you do for all of the teachers and students in Gilbert. You are truly one in a million. Do you have any words of wisdom or encouragement that you'd like to share with our BeWellers?
It's one thing that I have to tell myself more often. Just because one thing didn't go right, don't let that ruin your day. I try to tell this to my kids all the time, because they'll come in first or second hour and they had like a bad bus trip, or they, whatever, or even my own kids, they had like a bad 10 minutes of time, and to not let that ruin your day. And the way I can do that into wellness is a lot of people are like, okay, I'll have a diet of 6 good days and I'll have a cheat day. And then all of a sudden, day 2, they end up eating donuts or something. And for me, I have to fight oh, well, I guess that's done now. And then the rest of the day is my cheat day. And then the next day is like, well, I ruined yesterday. I guess my whole diet's gone. So take it like moment by moment, and don't let the bad moment ruin all the good that can happen. Although every day may not be good, there's something good in every day. I stole that from another English teacher. So I think that is what helps me, and what would help me more if I realize that in the spur of the moment.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today. Nick, do you have anything else to say?
No, I just, I really appreciate you, Tyler. Thanks for sharing with us. And it's great to be back for another school year, and excited for the BeWell journey ahead.
All right. And as always, be well.